Okay, so this is the nuclear uranium ETF, and it broke out on Friday, the 9th of January. So I wanted to take a look at some of the uranium stocks and see how they were doing. This ETF is a great representation of how the general market for uranium is doing. And I mean, uranium has actually been on quite a bit of a tear. You can see on the weekly as it broke out, and it just is in this amazing trend, and it pulls back into the moving averages on the weekly as well. And it held with strength, and it's pulling back and breaking out again with an increase in volume. I mean, check, check, and check. You kind of have just everything working for the uranium sector right now. So, why don't we look at some of the stocks in the group? If one thing you will come to find out about this channel is we only look at hot stocks from hot sectors. So, I do like to keep it hot over here, and that's just because, more than 50% of a stock's move is dependent on what sector it's trading from. So I definitely always want to be aligned with that. And of course, uranium is a AI adjacent theme, of course, as is a lot of the things that are strong in the market are. A lot of the things that are AI and AI adjacent is really where I would like to be. For example, this is UUU, and you could see it sort of has that major uptrend, sort of like the uranium ETF does, because all these stocks they move in tandem usually. So we get this pullback here, and once we got the breakout from this level at about $7, look at the increase in volume throughout this push. That kind of gives and this is on the weekly. This isn't even on the daily chart. So this is a huge indication that this uptrend is likely to continue, and we're holding the 10 and 20 EMA quite nicely, both on the weekly chart and on the daily chart. So you will notice that I put a lot of emphasis on the weekly chart, and that's just because it's a really strong level. If you're trading trends on a weekly chart, you just have so much momentum behind you, and honestly, it's kind of like a cheat code because it just works, and you'll see that with a lot of these stocks that we're looking at right now. So I've pulled up DNN, and it's surfing all the moving averages. Well, I only have two. I've got the 10 and the 21 week moving average, and the exact same thing on the daily as well, with the inclusion of the 50. So I've got the 50, the 21, and the 10. And look how it just follows the moving averages so beautifully. And again, uranium theme, this is DNN, and it pulls back and it finds support. And this is really the key area where I'm looking to find positions in this pullback into the moving averages on the weekly chart, and then using multi-time frame analysis to also get that confluence on the daily chart as well. And you can see how beautifully it works here. Let's also take a look at CCJ, and it does the same thing. It pushes, it holds the moving averages on the left. We've got the 10, we've got the 20. We've got breakouts, we've got pullbacks into those moving averages, and the breakout with strength. And of course, though the ideal buys would also be on the daily when the stock pushes into those moving averages and it can find support. And usually, the major tell is usually these slight gap ups, especially after a multi day pullback, and then you get a push with volume. I mean, this is pretty much an A plus setup: pullback, breakout with volume, weekly support, daily support, weekly support, daily support, just everything in favor here for CCJ. Looking good, but extended. And unfortunately, a few of these will just have to wait for a pullback, which is completely fine. It's just a game of patience. All stocks pull back eventually into their moving averages. So now let's take a look at EUC, and it is also pushing quite strongly and above its moving averages, but it's actually right at its all-time high level. We can see right here. And will it give us a pullback and breakout, or is it just going to behave like a madman and just completely keep pushing. Again, these are hot stocks from hot sectors. These stocks have the curse of being from one of the hottest sectors in the market right now. Let's move it over to URG from uranium as well. And this one is actually not trading at its all-time highs finally, and we are pulling back and pushing through, but we are probably not too far from 52-week highs, I would assume. Let's take a look. And yeah, we're 20% off 52-week highs, which would likely be this level right here. If we pull out the tool and I draw the pullback, yep, that's 20%. So we're likely heading right into that level. We're likely to see a pullback because we are 20% away from there, but it's likely that it will not take very long to get there. As you can see, a lot of these uranium stocks, once the breakout occurs, they could break out for multiple days in a row. I mean, look at this. We can't even get a proper pullback into the 10-day moving average because of how strong it is with all this volume coming in with support on the weekly. Look how beautiful the weekly support gives us that clue into the breakout happening with the confluence of lasting for multiple days. And I guess that's the main thing about the weekly chart is that if you take and identify your trades on the weekly, it just highly increases the likelihood that we will get a breakout for multiple days, and that's a beautiful thing. NXC also uranium name, just gone, just absolutely gone. This one is also trading at all-time highs, and I guess you can say it's one of the leaders in the space, trading at all-time highs, and simply waiting for a pullback on this one, and it's looking good. But there's no reason to chase, absolutely no reason to chase. There is no edge in chasing. What I'm absolutely looking for and waiting for, and what I know will happen, is that we will get a pullback into these moving averages, and maybe even we may be blessed with a pullback from on top here, maybe into the support on the weekly, and get that pullback. Of course, we need to see that volatility contraction pattern before we take a trade. Oh, I have no idea why it looks like that on the daily chart. Now, let's take a look at the last one I have here, UROY. And this one is trading 17.7% from its all-time highs, and it will definitely be making its way back up there. It's actually already pulled into the moving averages on the weekly and also taking off. So we've got the rising 10, rising 20, rising 50, and we've got the rising 10 and rising 21, both on the daily and on the weekly chart. We have a super trend times 2, so it looks good. It's all about being patient and, again, waiting for these pullbacks into the moving averages if we happen to get them, and getting that volatility contraction. And again, the gap ups are usually huge indicators of when these stocks are ready to go when pulling into their moving averages. But of course, I don't want to buy while it's extended, and I certainly do not want to buy as it's pulling back. But when it comes in and starts to make that U-turn within that area here is where I'm looking to get positioned. So this is just something I wanted to bring to your attention because it was just glaring that this is a really strong sector. So go ahead and take a look at some of these stocks, maybe add them to your list, prepare for a pullback, and maybe add some alerts. That's my time for today. Like the video if you liked it, and consider subscribing because there are some more hot sectors that I intend to keep you updated on as frequently as I can. So go ahead and smash the like button if you can. Have a good one.